India in the late 19th century was under the firm grip of British colonial rule. The vast nation, rich in culture and resources, found itself subjugated to the will of a foreign power. Yet, from the darkness of oppression, a light was about to emerge. This light was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, a man who would come to be known as Mahatma, meaning great soul, and who would lead India to freedom through the path of non-violence. Born in 1869 in a small coastal town, Gandhi's life mirrored the struggles of his nation. He witnessed firsthand the injustices inflicted upon his people, the discrimination and the poverty that ran rampant under colonial rule. These experiences would shape his worldview and ignite within him a burning desire for justice and equality. Gandhi's message resonated with millions of Indians. He spoke of passive resistance, of satyagraha, the force of truth and love, as the weapons to combat oppression. He called upon his countrymen to shed their fear and stand up for their rights, not with violence, but with unwavering resolve and unwavering faith in the righteousness of their cause. The stage was set for a monumental struggle, a battle fought not on the battlefields, but in the hearts and minds of a nation yearning for freedom. Gandhi, the unassuming lawyer, had become the guiding light, leading India towards its destiny. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on October 2, 1869, in Porbandar, a coastal town in Gujarat, India. His family belonged to the merchant caste and held a position of some influence in the local administration. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, served as the Diwan, or Chief Minister of Porbandar state. His mother, Putlibai, was a deeply religious woman who instilled in young Mohandas the values of tolerance, compassion and non-violence. Gandhi's early education was typical of a middle-class Indian boy at the time. He attended local schools where he excelled in his studies, but showed little interest in extracurricular activities. At the age of 13, he was married to Kastubai Makhanji, a girl of the same age, in an arranged marriage customary for their time and community. In 1888, at the age of 19, Gandhi sailed to England to study law. His time in London was a period of significant personal growth and transformation. He encountered Western ideas, culture and society, which challenged his preconceived notions and broadened his horizons. He also faced racial prejudice for the first time, an experience that would deeply scar him and shape his future activism. During his time in London, Gandhi became a vegetarian, embracing the principles of non-violence and compassion towards all living beings. He also developed a keen interest in religion and philosophy, reading extensively the works of Leo Tolstoy, Henry David Thoreau, and the Bhagavad Gita. These readings further solidified his belief in non-violence and the power of truth and love. In 1893, Gandhi travelled to South Africa to practice law. Little did he know that this journey would mark a turning point in his life and set him on the path to becoming the Mahatma. South Africa, under British rule, was a land rife with racial segregation and discrimination. Indians brought to the country as indentured labourers faced harsh and unjust laws that relegated them to second-class citizens. Gandhi, who had experienced prejudice in England, was appalled by the level of racism he witnessed in South Africa. He was thrown off a train for refusing to move from a first-class compartment despite holding a valid ticket. This incident ignited within him a fire, a determination to fight for the rights of his fellow Indians. It was in South Africa that Gandhi developed his philosophy of satyagraha, which translates to truth force or the force of truth. Satyagraha was a novel form of non-violent resistance that eschewed violence in all its forms. It was based on the principle that truth and love were the most potent weapons against injustice and oppression. Gandhi organized numerous campaigns of civil disobedience, urging Indians to defy unjust laws peacefully. He led protests, boycotts and strikes, enduring imprisonment and police brutality without ever resorting to violence. His courage and unwavering commitment to non-violence inspired thousands of Indians and earned him the admiration of people worldwide. Section 4 returned to India, leading the freedom movement. In 1915, after 2 decades of struggle in South Africa, Gandhi returned to India. His experiences had transformed him from a young lawyer into a seasoned activist, a leader with a clear vision for his homeland's future. India, still under British rule, was ripe for change. The First World War had weakened the British Empire, and the nationalist movement was gaining momentum. Gandhi's arrival injected new energy into the Indian independence movement. He travelled extensively across the country, connecting with the masses, understanding their grievances and mobilising them for the struggle ahead. He established the Satyagraha Ashram, a communal living community dedicated to the principles of non-violence and self-sufficiency. Gandhi's message of non-violent resistance resonated deeply with the Indian people. He called upon them to boycott British goods, to spin their own cloth, and to embrace self-reliance as a means to break free from colonial dependence. He urged them to remain non-violent, even in the face of provocation, believing that true strength lay in the power of love and forgiveness. Under Gandhi's leadership, the Indian National Congress, the country's leading political party, adopted Satyagraha as its official policy. What had started as a movement of a few thousand now encompassed millions of Indians from all walks of life, united in their demand for freedom. Section 5, the Salt March, a defining moment. One of the most defining moments of India's struggle for independence was the Salt March of 1930. The British government had imposed a salt tax which disproportionately affected the poor and prohibited Indians from producing or selling salt, a staple in their diet. Gandhi saw this as an opportunity to challenge the British Empire's authority non-violently. He announced that he would lead a march from his ashram in Sabarmati to Dandi, a coastal village in Gujarat, where he would break the salt law by making salt from seawater. On March 12, 1930, Gandhi, along with 78 followers, embarked on the 240-mile march to Dandi. They walked for 24 days, covering an average of 10 miles per day. As they marched, their numbers swelled, with thousands of Indians joining them along the way. The march became a symbol of India's resolve to break free from British rule. On April 6, 1930, Gandhi and his followers reached Dandi. Gandhi picked up a lump of natural salt and declared, "With this, I am shaking the foundations of the British Empire." His act of defiance sparked a nationwide civil disobedience movement. Millions of Indians joined the salt satyagraha, making salt illegally and refusing to pay the salt tax. The British government responded with brutal repression. Thousands of Indians were arrested, including Gandhi himself. The world watched in horror as images of peaceful Indian protesters being beaten by British police filled newspapers and newsreels. The Salt March was a turning point in India's struggle for independence. It demonstrated the power of non-violent resistance and exposed the brutality of the British Raj. The march garnered international attention and support for India's cause, putting immense pressure on the British government to grant India independence.